What's up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be giving you 3 quick tips to increasing or kickstarting your Etsy sales today. If you're somebody who's struggling to get sales or you're just starting out and you need tips on how to get your first sales, make sure you stay to the end of this video because there's going to be an added bonus tip at the end. All right, guys, let's get into it. Welcome back, guys. My name is Hannah Gardner. If you are new to the channel, I talk about mainly building brands on Etsy and Shopify and a lot of other entrepreneurship stuff as well. So if that is what you're into, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and comment any of your questions down below. If you have just started your Etsy store or you had an Etsy store for a while and you're struggling to get sales or maybe your sales are dropping, one of the biggest things that impact, I cannot emphasize this enough, is having good photography of your products. And if you don't already know this, lifestyle photography specifically works better than just putting your product behind a white background like you would see on something like Amazon. So on Etsy, lifestyle photography does really, really well. And the reason being is because this is gonna be your first impression that you're going to be able to make on your potential customer when they type in said keyword and they see your item in the search results. Remember, you are competing with a lot of other people. For the most part, if you're selling in, any niche, home, garden, baby, whatever it is, there is a lot of competition. So if you go to the search bar yourself and look up the keywords for your type of product, if you see that you have competition that have better photos than you and maybe have a bestseller badge or maybe have a popular now badge, you really need to go investigate those listings and you need to have an honest kind of conversation with yourself and say, am I really the best fit for this job in my business? Now, if you're starting the business for the first time, or maybe you've had your Etsy store and you've just always done your photography yourself, I cannot stress enough how important photography is. Your product literally could be curing cancer and have such a better value proposition as far as quality or features, but if your competition is out marketing you, meaning they're making their listings look more aesthetically pleasing in their photography or their videos, that person is going to win every single time. Why? Because e-commerce is such a perceptual based form of business. And if you're not staging your products properly or not competitive enough, then your competition is going to beat you, because that's exactly what you're doing. You're competing for rank, you're competing for spots towards the front of the Etsy search pages. So you really need to make sure that when you go do photo shoots, when you go to produce photography, you're looking at the people that are at the top and making sure that when you enter the marketplace, your photography is competitive enough. And sometimes just you being the judge of that, of whether your photography or your photos are good or bad, is not a big enough data sample. So reach out to people, reach out to friends and family. There's actually even softwares that you can run surveys on this. So you can take the main image that you are going to run, that's gonna be the main image for your product, and then you can take your competitors' main images and you can actually use certain types of software that I'll link below where you can run surveys and test to see which one gets the highest CTR, which means click-through rate. So based off the main image, which product image is actually going to outbeat all of your competition. Yes, guys, that is what this has come to. E-commerce is becoming that competitive. So you really need to make sure that before you enter the marketplace, you know that you're producing a listing that is going to beat your competition. Now, in alignment with that and beating your competition, my second tip is to have better value propositions.
So now you're going to be like, well, Hannah, what is a value proposition?
A value proposition is what are they getting versus what are they paying versus what is your competition doing. For instance, you see in this listing here, you see the price and you see the image. And what stands out in this image versus all of your competition? It is bundled. Bundled meaning it's showing more than one item for a certain price. Now, when you actually go and click on this item, what you discover is that you actually don't get everything that you saw in the main image for that price. But one, because the price looks so competitive for what they were perceiving to get, when you earn that click, which is honestly the hardest part about all of this, is getting someone to click your listing, but you earn that click and then now you can allow the listing sell for itself. So what do I mean by that? I mean that you can have a better value proposition by having better quality, having more features of the product compared to your competition, having more variations, having more options, having a better price compared to your competition. When you're making your listings, you want to build a value proposition that is competitive compared to your competition. So what is your value proposition? What makes you stand out? Is it your marketing? Is it your price point? Is it your variations? Is it what you get versus what you're paying? What is that value proposition? And you need to consciously know that before you start building products or even designing a business model around this niche that you're gonna enter. Now, I think I just skipped over what the other point that I was trying to make. Now, back to this listing here, as I mentioned before, it's showing this price and this is the main image, but when you actually click on this product, what you find out is that price is only for one variation option of all the variations in their listing. So you can buy the cheapest option, which is gonna get you only one part of this listing, or you can select something else from the drop-down menu, which increases the price. Now see, Etsy is always going to auto-populate the cheapest price per all of your variations, and so that's the price that's going to show. And now I'm not saying this to be deceiving, but what this does, because your main image is showing such a huge value proposition with this bundled item and they're seeing this very low price, people are going to click on it thinking that that's what you get for that price. And even though you actually don't get that for that price, you got that click, which again was the hardest part about all of this. So that's just like one little trick to up your CTR. I can tell you from experience from selling over $1 million on Etsy that I spent a lot of my time, probably actually the majority of my time testing. So what does that mean? Testing new products, testing new photography, testing value propositions, testing price points, testing variation, testing colors, testing titles and keywords. Like all of my time in theory could be spent just testing listings. And because Etsy gives you the opportunity to duplicate listings and recreate listings that have the same SKU within them, not saying to just go in and duplicate your one listing 20 times and not change anything. Etsy actually allows you and encourages you to duplicate your listing and test different value propositions and different photos and different keywords. And that's absolutely huge. Like, you need to be doing that if you're an e-commerce seller. Like, you cannot just put up 10 listings and expect that all of a sudden you got the value prop right, you got the photography right, you got the keywords right. No, like, you need to be testing all of these variables and collecting data and seeing what's working and what's not working. And normally what you come to find is what you thought was gonna work. Actually, something totally different happened and something else worked that you never even thought was gonna become a bestseller. And you don't find that or discover that data without testing. This leads me to my very last secret sauce tip, which is Everbee. Everbee is a Chrome extension that I have been using that basically shows me real data and puts data behind who is winning, who is at the top for certain keywords and certain products within the listing. So let me just show you exactly what I'm talking about. If I go to Etsy.com right now and I type in the keyword baby clothes because I want to produce baby clothes. Actually, let me be more specific. Let me say I want to produce a leather dog collar, a personalized leather dog collar. All right, I want to see who is my competition for a personalized leather dog collar. What Everbee does, when I hit my Chrome extension here, it's gonna start pulling all the analytics of who is crushing it, who is the #1 seller at the top. Now, it is gonna show you estimated sales data, but I don't want you to pay attention to that. More so, I want you to pay attention to just who is aggregating to the top of the top. So the people that are getting the most favorites, the estimated most daily sales, all of those things. I want to analyze those people and I want to see what they're doing to earn those top positions. Because if you're ranking on the first page for, main keywords that I'm also going to use in my list, that I want to use in my listing, I want to see what they're doing. So I want to see what their value propositions are. I want to see, what their price points are. I want to see what their quality is like. I want to see what my competition's doing. So when I go to produce that product and I enter that marketplace, I know that I am going to be competitive right out of the gates, right? And so now the only thing I really need to worry about is spending money on ads and getting sales and working out all the kinks with my new product that I just launched. So this is really important when you're first starting out. Everbee not only shows you who is at the top, but then it also shows me, if I click this little B here, it will show me what their tags that they're actually using. In which case, I then take all of the keywords from doing this type of keyword research, I put them in a notepad or a Google Doc, and then I do further research on those keywords and I put them into something called eRank. eRank is another software tool that I use. Between Everbee and eRank, I'm constantly using these all day, every day. I then take those keywords and I put them into eRank to see what ones have the highest search volume. And then those are the keywords that I'm gonna put at the beginning of my titles and the beginning of my tags and the beginning of my descriptions, so Etsy can start picking those keywords up and start indexing me for those high search volume keywords. That was my last little tip about how I really do some of my research when it comes to my products, and overall my top 3 tips that I would say that will really help you skyrocket your sales, especially if you're first starting out. Sometimes in the beginning, when you are starting new on Etsy or just in business online, you just don't know what you don't know when you're first starting out, and that's completely normal. And what I mean by that is, like, you don't really have somebody like standing behind your back saying, "You're doing a good job, Martha, like you're doing all the right things, you're on the right track." And while I did have that in some business aspects because I was coming from a media buying background doing basically marketing for other e-commerce brands before I got into Etsy, I already kind of had experience and I kind of knew the KPIs or some key point indicators that told me that I was doing the right or wrong things within my store when I first started out. So I already kind of had that experience. But as far as just having somebody like hold my hand all the way through, I didn't really have that. And so that's why I created my BossCom All-In Masterclass, which is a case study of my 7-figure Etsy and Shopify store, where I'm basically showing every single thing that I have built along the way. So you're actually seeing the inside of my personal store, everything that I've done. If you're interested in getting into that case study, make sure that you sign up below. I think I do have an intro offer right now today. Until we get to our first 50 members, then I'm not gonna be running a sale on it anymore, just because it's still new, and it also helps me to meet you guys and learn what issues you're having so I can better it in the future. So if you are interested in that, make sure you sign up for that BossCom course, and that is called the All-In Masterclass. And not only does it give you a full access to all of my courses, so not just the 7-figure case study, but also all my mini courses where I'm teaching one-off things, and also you get a one-on-one consultation with me, plus you get access to our private exclusive Facebook group where you can network and meet other entrepreneurs and like-minded individuals just like you, which is so important when you're in business. I don't know if you've ever heard this saying before, but your net worth is basically the average of your 5 best friends. Regardless, whatever the quote is, it is so freaking true. Like, if you are in business and you're an entrepreneur, you need to be making friends with other entrepreneurs. So that is the community I'm starting to build. Right now, as you're watching this video, we're about to hit about 30 members. And remember, the discount is gonna go away after we hit 50 members. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure you're commenting those down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.